Okay, so yesterday we talked about the rational exponents and what it meant. And we went ahead and we worked on rewriting things that were in, with rational exponents, rewriting them in radical notation. And then we worked on rewriting things that were already in radical notation with rational exponents. Today what we're going to do is we are going to take and simplify some of these things. So if I have the fourth root of 81 and I'm raising it to the negative first power, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the fourth root of 81. Breaking down 81, I get 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Because it's the fourth root, I need a group of 4 things, which I do have a group of 4 3s. So my result so far is that 3 and still to the negative first power. And we learned that something to a negative exponent meant that you move it to the other part of the fraction. And since there was nothing left in the numerator, I put a 1 on top, and this is just 1/3. Okay, well if I have the square root of 25 to the fourth power, what that means is I need to first figure out the square root of 25, which I know to be 5. So now I have 5 to the fourth power, which is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 625. Similarly, if I have the fourth root of 16 and I want to raise it to the fifth power, breaking down 16, I get 4 2s. I'm looking for a group of 4 things, so I circle that, and I end up with 2 to the fifth power. And multiplying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 5 times gives me 32. Okay, well what if I was given something like this, 81 to the 3/2 power? It asked me to evaluate it without using a calculator. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to rewrite this into a problem that looks like the ones we just did. I'm going to put the radical on the inside of the parentheses, so I have the square root of 81 raised to the third power. And then I'm going to go ahead and figure out the square root of 81. What's that? Well, that happens to be 9. And 9 to the third power ends up being 729. 9 times 9 times 9. So the key is that when you rewrite these, you want to make sure that you put the radical on the inside. So cubed root of 125, and that 2 that it's raised to goes on the outside. We'll worry about that later. The cubed root of 125, if I break that down, I get 3 5s. So there's my group of 3 things because I'm looking at the cubed root. And I end up with 5 to the second power. 5 times 5 is 25. All right, 16 to the 3/2 power. Let me see, the bottom number 2 tells me that's a square root of 16. Raising that to the top number 3. And I get the square root of 16, which is 4 to the third power. And 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Well, what if those exponents are negative? Well, I just go ahead and I fix the negative piece of it first. So I have 1 over 8 to the positive 4/3 because I fixed the negative piece of it. And then I keep going. The 1 is still there. Cubed root of 8 goes inside the parentheses, raised to the fourth power. And 8, when you break it down, is 3 2s. So a group of 3 2s gives me 1, and then 2 to the fourth power. And 2 to the fourth, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 16. So again, we dealt with the negative exponent first, and then we went ahead and simplified it. So 9 to the negative 1/2 means really I'm looking at 1 over 9 to the positive 1/2. 1/2 is the same thing as the square root of 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. Final answer. Okay, your last one, 27 to the negative 2/3. This is a negative exponent. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the bottom part of the fraction. That bottom number 3 in my exponent tells me it's the cubed root of 27. I put that in parentheses and raise it to the second power. 27, when you break it down, is 3 3s. I have a group of 3 3s, so I end up with 1 over 3 to the second, which is just 1/9. For tomorrow, please go ahead and complete the back side of the 6-1B worksheet. The back side of the 6-1B worksheet.